This video is for investors in the Dallas-Fort Worth area of Texas, whether you are a flipper or if you want to buy and hold or do some kind of creative financing, fancy stuff like midterm rentals, etc. In 2025, we are left with the aftermath of a very difficult 2024, which left many sellers who were trying to sell at that time extremely disappointed in the real estate market. And this year, 2025, we still do not know what's going to happen. We don't know where the market is going to go after the election, how the impact of the new Trump policies are going to, how the Trump policies are going to impact the real estate market, the interest rate, the inflation, and all of that stuff. But what we do know is that many sellers who were trying to sell in 2024 could not sell. And what I would like to do is to propose that aside from your regular cold calling, cold texting, doing all of those cold outreach scenarios, that you take a look at the list of properties that are expiring cancels from 2024. My team, I have a team in Philippines who are currently digging through those records, thousands and thousands and thousands and tens of thousands of listings that expired and canceled in our area, and many of them, about maybe 40 to 50% of them, did not sell and did not relist in the market. Many of them are still staying in their homes, waiting for a better season in 2025. Some of them rented their properties out, but regardless, they are still looking to sell and offload the property. That was a very long intro. I apologize. But nevertheless, let's take a look at what kind of deals can we find in that list? Let me show you the overall capabilities for the research of that list so you can see what kind of filters we have, and that might give you some ideas of how to screen this list for potential deals. Give me just 1 second. Let me go ahead and share. And I'm going to turn my video off so you could not be distracted. So this is the list of expired and canceled. I'm only taking 180 days worth of data. If we expanded it to the entire 2024, that would give us even more matching properties. But for right now, we're just going to play with our tool, which is the MLS. This is the back end of the MLS. As you can see, we can screen by price, total bedrooms, bathrooms, square feet, acres here built, number of levels in the property, garage spaces, whether or not the property has an HOA, whether or not the property has acreage, what type of a property it is, duplex, under townhomes, etc. More importantly, what we can see is whether it's owner occupied, tenant occupied, or vacant. Now, vacant properties could be extremely important for your search because those owners most likely cannot pay to mortgages for too long after the property expired on the market. We can take a look at the pool features. We can see whether or not they have a mod or a pod, types of the fireplaces they have, etc. Now, we also can look by the property description, and this is where the flexibility comes from. What I would like to start with is to show, for example, how many properties that expired without selling were motivated sellers. For example, just as one, hold on, why there is no matches? Give me 1 second. We selected fiberglass, so we still have 0 matches, my mistake. No. My bad, I clicked on too many parameters and we selected historical home. That's why we couldn't find any matches. But anyhow, so just if we're looking for descriptions of properties where motivated seller was mentioned, we have almost 1,000 sellers who were extremely motivated to sell and could potentially still be motivated to sell. Many of them are possibly in a pre-foreclosure status. We can also look for descriptive names like TLC, for example. So we can see 154 properties had TLC as part of their description, or handyman, or what kind of other, let's just say investor. Maybe it's an investor property. What else can we say? Work needed. So say bring your work. So it could be some work needed, a lot of work needed. We could filter by the word work, which is not a very common in the, unless it says woodwork, not a very common descriptor in the MLS descriptions. Imagination. Imagination, very often the realtors say bring your imagination when they describe a property that needs a lot of work, etc., etc. So by using all of these descriptors, descriptive words, we can poke through the data and see if we can come up with property that require a little bit of work and that did not sell in 2024. We can also look for things like damage. So for example, damage. Okay, and let's just see price to sell. You get the idea. Also, on top of looking for properties that had those descriptors in them, we can also look for additional kind of hints that this would be an interesting seller to work with. So for example, cumulative days in the market. Anybody who's been in the market for 100 days or more could potentially be a very interesting person to talk to, because at that point, like if they've been in the market for only, let's just say 10 days, if they've been in the market for only 10 days, chances are that they did not get to experience the disappointment that somebody who's been in the market for 100, or let's just say even 200 days, somebody who's been in the market for 200 days definitely has more of an understanding that his property either overpriced or it needs way too many repairs for a traditional buyer. So they might be much more open to a cash offer scenario. Now, in most cases, almost every seller is going to be favorable to a cash offer, but for some of them, it's less of a pain and they have less of an understanding of where their problem is coming from than somebody who's been in the market for 200, 300, maybe even a whole year. At that point, they have been through multiple realtors. They have completely disappointed in the ability of the realtors to sell their property, and they're now looking for alternatives. Besides the cumulative days in the market, we can also look at interesting additional hints, such as, for example, if somebody says that they have an assumable loan, it means that that person, at the very least, have some interest in working with a buyer who would be interested in, let's just say, a mortgage wrap or a subject to an existing loan. In both cases, we're going, like, for example, when we see that the assumable, etc., etc., once we look at those properties, what we can find out very often is that those people are unable to sell for whatever reason, and they're trying to expand the pool of buyers to bring in buyers who would otherwise not qualify for their loan. So that could be a good option for those of you who are looking to purchase maybe rental properties who subject to an existing loan or seller financing. Also, if these people offered seller financing, that also indicates their ability to potentially seller finance your property or purchase. This way, if you're doing a flip, you could negotiate much more favorable terms with a seller than you would with a hard money lender, or maybe you could even JV together to sell the property. So we have multiple opportunities to explore people who offer subject loan assumptions, rent to own, and seller financing to see what is creating their pain point. Why aren't they able to sell to traditional buyer, and then see if we can provide a solution that traditional buyers cannot offer to them. Once we get a list of the properties that are expired and canceled, we can do some additional snooping around And let me show you how we can filter things by parameters such as equity. Now, I have multiple videos on this topic, so hold on, give me just 1 second. Let me start sharing again. It's a slightly different video. I'm going to turn my video off. So as you can see, this is actually the same list that you just saw in the MLS and displayed as a map or displayed as a list, only with a lot more information. So what I do is I'm a pretty technical person. I would say that I am very good with data and digging through data and finding pieces of information that are not immediately available to other investors or to other wholesalers. And I'm good at gluing data together from multiple resources. So in this particular case, we have good information that could help us to navigate through a long list of potential sellers. So for example, we can see what is their ARV versus an estimated equity. So if they have a very high equity, if they have a medium size of equity, if they have low equity, all of this could help us to determine whether or not they're a good target for approaching with investment type of offer. Also, we can see when was the last time, let me see if we can see that data. When was the last time the property sold? When did the mortgage originate? How much is the interest rate on the mortgage? Whether or not they have only first position or second position loans, what kind of deed type they have. If you understand those type of nuances, it could be of interest to you. And then additional information such as whether or not it's a owner as an individual or a company or a trust and how long they have owned the property. So in combination, all of those fields can help us to narrow down the list to those individuals, those sellers who will be most likely to respond well to your outreach, whether it is a digital outreach, email outreach, texting, calling, or mail outs, mailing campaigns. You can definitely save some time and some money, not reaching out to a completely cold audience, but looking at those individuals who were definitely interested in selling, but for whatever reason they could not in 2024. With that said, if you were interested in getting a copy of that list, contact me. Now, obviously, my team worked very hard and long to put together a list of curated list of people who tried to sell, couldn't sell, and still have not sold. The list is free of people who already sold the property or who relisted. So those are unrepresented sellers. If you would like to reach out to me, let me see if I can narrow the list down for you and negotiate the terms of our collaboration, because I can both help you to get together, get the list, process the data, look up additional information, bring in cold callers, cold texters, do virtual marketing, do online marketing, do off, what do you call it? Do print marketing, my bad. Let me go ahead and stop sharing. And let me go ahead and turn my video again. So sorry. So my expertise in marketing is pretty extensive. So if marketing and outreach are your pain points, let's discuss. Maybe I can help you with that. I do have a print, mail, and marketing center at my brokerage in Keller Williams Central in Dallas. So if getting pretty low cost print marketing is a necessity, then I can help you with that. And then I can also help you to put together deals, review deals, deal with title companies, provide references to good attorneys, provide references to good title companies. Just if you need second position loans, I'm part of Gator Tribe, so I can get you in touch with lenders who could come in a second position in case you were not able to secure enough funds from the first position loan, etc., etc. So my list of services is pretty wide. I prefer to collaborate. I prefer not to work on a task by task basis. I prefer to collaborate so we could process deals together. But if necessary, I can work on a la carte, means task by task, a project by project basis. So I get paid a fixed amount and you take the rest of the funds from the transaction. That's it for now. I do not know what else to add to this information. What are the next steps if you're interested in this information? If you're a realtor or if you already have access to the MLS, then feel free to use my video to look up how I review data, how I download data, how I glue the data together. So you can repeat the same process and do it at your own time. If you do need my help, my contact information is in the description below. Feel free to reach out to me. What I prefer to do in those cases is to have a one-on-one meeting or a Zoom meeting where we both define the goals of your research. And then I start work or assign a virtual assistant in Philippines to do a project for researching the data or cleaning up the data, and then we proceed with doing marketing, outreach, negotiations. If necessary, I can door knock and I can be on the phone with sellers, and I can explain to them the benefits of working with an investor like you. I am not a wholesaler. I am a realtor. I prefer to not to go through a wholesaling option. I prefer to represent you. But if you want to be on a fee basis, so you don't have a representation, that's fine by me as well. We can negotiate that. That's it for now. My name is Elena Garrett, and I'm a realtor in the Dallas-Fort Worth area of Texas. I specialize in creative financing structures, such as subject to an existing loan, mortgage wraps, and seller financing and rent to own. And also, I am an investor who specializes in short-term rentals, mid-term rentals, and co-living as ways to boost income from properties and boost rental income and to improve cash flow on those properties where cash flow is a little bit more challenging. If you need any of those services or if you need a consultation on that for a property that you're planning to purchase, I am pretty good at predicting the cash flow value of that property, I hope, in the future. That's it for now. My name is Elena Garrett. One more time, my contact information is below. Feel free to connect with me and we will take it from there. Thank you so much, guys, and I'll see you at the next video.